time now for Peter Channel Late Night News on this late Tuesday night, April 26, 2016. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins at late night, 11:30 p.m. News and on tonight. Top story 11:30 p.m. is a low but reasonable turnout at the Norton town election in 2016 as Nortonites gave up their daily schedule to cast their vote in the 2016 town election. And in the Board of Assessors, Karen uncontested win with 610 votes. And in Board of Selectmen was Bob Kimmel with 638 votes, Bob Stelber with 503 of the votes, and 6 write-ins. For the Hazard Authority, it's Ralph Stephanie with 613 votes and write-ins, 2 votes. Planning Board for the 3 years, Ed Beatty with 439 votes, your winner. Frank Dren had 340 votes, your winner. And Steve Jurczyk, 298 votes, winner Walt. James Kennedy came up to with 286 votes, and Steve Hornsby, 235. In the Planning Board for 2 years, Chris Barrows, 583 votes, and write-in 1. School Committee, Sherry Cohen with 625 votes, Kathy Stern, 551 votes, Victor Bedard with 255 votes, and write-in 1 as Cohen and Stern, the winners in the School Committee, and the Town Clerk, write-ins 107, and Water Sewer Commissioner Steve Bishop, 635 votes, and 2 write-ins, and questions, yes, 601, no, 191. Alright, other news. Washington, Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton scored huge victories Tuesday that bring them closer to a monumental duel for the White House in the fall. As we take a look at the primaries. In Connecticut, Donald Trump, winner in the Republican primary with 57.8% of votes to John Kasich, 28.5% of the votes, and Ted Cruz with 11.7% of the votes. While the Democrat, Hillary Clinton, your winner, 51.2% of votes to Bernie Sanders, 47.0% of the votes. In Rhode Island, in the Democrat side, Bernie Sanders, your winner with 55.0% of the votes over Hillary Clinton's 43.3% of the votes. In the Rhode Island primary, Donald Trump, your winner with 63.8% of the votes to John Kasich's 24.4% of the votes and Ted Cruz's 10.4% of the votes. In Delaware, Donald Trump, your winner with 60.8% of the votes to John Kasich's 20.4% of the votes and Ted Cruz is 15.9% of the votes. And Democrat, it is Hillary Clinton, your winner, 59.8% of the votes to Bernie Sanders, 39.2% of the votes. In Pennsylvania, Hillary Clinton, your winner, with 55.6% of the votes to Bernie Sanders, 43.5% of the votes. And in the Republican, Donald Trump, your winner with 56.8% of the votes to Ted Cruz, 21.6% of the votes, and John Kasich, 19.4% of the votes. In Sullivan County, a tie in Pennsylvania. And in Maryland, Donald Trump, your winner with 54.7% of the votes to John Kasich, 22.7% of the votes, and Ted Cruz is 18.9% of the votes. And in the Democrat side, Hillary Clinton, your winner, 63% to Bernie Sanders, 33%. Chris Van Allen wins the Democratic primary for Senate in Maryland. Clash over anti-Trump motion blows over in Anaheim. As supporters and opponents of Donald Trump clash at Anaheim City Hall Tuesday as a city council considers a resolution denouncing GOP presidential candidate. Washington, the U.S. has adopted a unique Israeli battlefield tactic in its fight against ISIS, exploding a missile above a building and warning civilians inside that is about to be bombed. Paul Manafort was hired by Donald Trump to bring the wisdom of an old Washington answer campaign and the political novices and provider expertise the arcane act accountant convention delegates. The lawsuit against Donald Trump's self-styled university accusing of scamming hundreds of students getting into trial. New York judge declared on Tuesday. 96 fans died in the Hillsborough disaster, but an inquest heard that deaths could be prevented if authorities had not made a number of mistakes. Back in 1989, a Maverick campsite said with her children under a mosquito net and an emergency food distribution site being run by UNICEF and the World Food Program in Danyang Unity State, south of Sudan. Baghdad, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi disability tried to steer his country out of political turmoil on Tuesday, partially reshuffling his campaign amid stepped-up pressure as thousands of protesters threatened to storm parliament. The fate of asylum seekers in Papua New Guinea remains unclear after the country's Supreme Court ruled their detention was unconstitutional. A woman driving in Milwaukee was fatally shot Tuesday morning after apparently by a child in a backseat at 40 days said the shooting on Interstate 41U. North Campton County top prosecutor lost a bid Tuesday to represent the Democratic Party in the race for Pennsylvania's Attorney General. South Carolina. The pep rally was underway as a South Carolina high school student entered the bathroom and a teacher trailed him. Philadelphia. Indicted Philadelphia. Indicted Pennsylvania Congressman Chuck Cafada faced his first primary fight in 2 decades and lost the Democratic Party just before the start of his federal corruption trial. Boston, its bill sponsored by Attleboro area lawmakers doesn't come before the legislature in next week. Massachusetts risks falling behind in a nationwide effort to curb drunken driving. Lobbyists from the advocacy group Mothers Against Driving in a State House Tuesday. 25 states have required people convicted of drunken driving to install vehicles to test for blood alcohol levels before the car will start. The drivers are very limited to switch the last of the purposes that a device is able more effective to preventing drunk driving than the less suspension of the case of the device. Say 50% to 75% of people continue to drive. Under suspended lasted by the mandated addition interlock devices would prevent an intoxicated person from getting on the road. The device costs about $2.50 per day, with a one-time installation fee up to $100 paid for the offender. It's only guaranteed to stop someone from drinking or driving over time. Mary Kate, the Families Program Director in Massachusetts, told the Senate crowd rally on Tuesday all the surrounding New England states of this law, and they don't want to be left behind. The operator MBTA's Career Rail system plans to install a ring of steel to this Boston station to cut down on fare invasion. In Norton, the town clerk is now an appointment post after voters in Tuesday's annual town election overwhelmingly supported Switzerland from an elected position. The Attleboro area real estate market continued to heat up in March, and the number of single-family home sales doubled compared with a year ago. Mansfield used about $500,000 in reserves and a number of school department and retirements offset $1 million increase in the special education costs, helping to eliminate a $2.6 million shortfall tied budget, school finance director Ed Vazell said. Lawrence, Massachusetts, a 34-year-old man armed with at least one rifle shot at his girlfriend in exchange gunfire with police before killing himself inside the Lawrence apartment the couple shared. Police responded to the scene around noon on Tuesday for reports of shots fired on Melrose Street. Mayor Denny Rivers has said that the responding officers were fired upon. At least one officer returned fire. He says that man then barricaded himself inside the apartment. Boston House lawmakers have taxed more than $20 billion under the proposed state budget as they continue to debate on nearly $40 billion spending plan. Comcast then talks about DreamWorks Animation for $3 billion plus as move came in after CEO Jeffrey Katzberg to try to use the self-company. Amid political criticism, Amazon announced today that it soon bring same-day delivery service to Ross, the only neighboring city without access to the service. Apple Incorporated on Tuesday posted its first ever decline in iPhone sales and its first revenue drop in 13 years that a company credited with inventing a smartphone struggles up to an increasingly saturated market. Mitsubishi Motors said it had properly tested the fuel economy of its cars for the past quarter. Saturated deep in the precedents all the way wiped out in half as market value. Simon Torres was a 10-ton dinosaur with a plum-sized brain. In the Hubble Space Social Photograph that make an 89-mile wild icy world in the outer solar system that reports it's on the newly directed moon. About halfway faster than Australia, Holt's rest of the Rocket Girls book comes written in stories about 1960s women finding between the need to take time off to care for the new babies, and decided to keep working in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Being the architect legislature to include a patient's death breast tissue that's trying to predict the mammogram of missing cancer and patients mammogram reaping results. Difficult to remember now to get around the news trend may be a extremely early sign of Alzheimer's, as a small study suggests. So Bennett lost a major battle in this years-long quest to accept approval of the Shane Miss Good this week, Dirk Edwardston. Republicans and Democrats in Congress say they are going to get them at this week to some kind of fend the deal to pay for Zika preparations. Either tell the times now 11:39 p.m. on this late Tuesday, and it is time now for a Trevor report. Let's study up down in Rhode Island, where it's looking good in highways and byways. The Ocean State. Down on Route 24 in the southbound side, connected to us around Route 123 in Buckner, so expect some delays. But you're good to go highways, byways. Southeast of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Southeast Expressway to the southbound side of the South of the Pike, all the way to Dorchester. Mass back on the eastbound side, so many also bird tolls all the way at the Southeast Expressway, Mass back on the westbound side. So from South Boston all the way out to the Prue Tunnel on the one also in Brighton tolls. 495 on the northbound side, Wills Ramp, Route 2 in the Littleton. 299 on the westbound side, Wills Ramp, Route 190 in Shrewsbury. Mass back on the eastbound side, Little Store and Charlton Stretch. 291 in the northbound side ramp. The Mass Pike of the Little Salt, Mass Pike of the eastbound side, Little Salt after 202 in Westfield. Highways and byways of Vermont, New Hampshire, looking good except on Route 3 in the southbound side. On the Everett Turbine in the southbound side, Little Salt in the Litchfield stretch, and Spot Main Turbine in the southbound side, Little Salt around Route 202 in Gray, Maine. But otherwise, Northern New England highways are looking good. Down in Connecticut, 95 on both ends of Little Run, Old Saybrook, Merritt Parkway eastbound side, the Little around West Milford around West New Haven. Merritt Parkway eastbound side, the Little the Stamford Stretch, just towards 95 on the southbound side, the Little around Stamford Stretch. I-84 to the westbound side, the Little around Route 8 in Waterbury, Connecticut. I-84 to the westbound side, the Little around I-91 in Hartford, Connecticut. I-9. Route 9 in the northbound side, the Little around I-84 to West Hartford. Route 2 in the eastbound side, Little to Colchester Stretch. Down in New York City, 95 on the southbound side, Little from the Bronx all the way to the George Washington Bridge. New Jersey Turnpike on the northbound side, Little slow between Edison and Newark, New Jersey. FDR Drive on both ends, it's a little slow from the Midtown Manhattan all the way to Harlem. Lawrence Expressway in the westbound side, Little slow before the Midtown Tunnel, and Lawrence Expressway to the westbound side, Little slow on the Queen Stretch. Grand Central Parkway in the northbound side, Little slow from 495 to 678 in the Flushing section. Belt Parkway in the eastbound side, Little from Sheepshead Bay all the way at the JFK Airport. George Washington Bridge on the 95 southbound side, so from the Bronx all the way to George Washington Bridge to the southbound side being closed. Northbound side is looking good. Otherwise, the Jersey Turnpike is looking from Edison all the way at the Wilmington, Delaware. While with the Newark section of the Garden State Freeway, Garden State Parkway is looking from Wildwood all the way at the Newark. 476 to the westbound side, a little slow on the Pennsylvania Turnpike after the King and Prussia. 476 on the southbound side, a little slow after Route 78 south of Allentown. But otherwise, Pennsylvania highways are looking good, and I-81 on both sides, a little slow from 476 all the way out past Scranton. Otherwise, highways and byways, the Empire State around New York State are looking good. Highways and byways of Baltimore are looking good. 95 on the northbound side, a little slow around the Bel Air stretch, and Route 895 on the northbound side, a little slow between the Harbor Tunnel and Baltimore. And down in D.C., 395 on the northbound side, a little slow in the Alexandria Stretch. Capitol Beltway and on the northbound side, a little slow around Route 95, 395 in Springfield. But highways and byways of D.C. are looking good. Okay, look at MBTA alerts at 11:43. Subway, commuter rail, and the ferries, they are looking good. Peter Chell News Time is now 11:43 p.m. on this late Tuesday night, and it's time now for a weather report, and it was a cold, cloudy, dank, raw, and wet day. And it was much better compared to what they're going for down in Plain States, as this is a tornado warning. As the radar was blink for now. This is This is a line of vicious thunderstorms from Texas and stretching it down for Dallas, Fort Worth, and stretching east of Oklahoma City, just around Tulsa, and stretching in eastern Kansas, and stretching around Kansas City, and stretching in northwestern Missouri, and down for southwestern Iowa, down for southeastern portions of Kansas, and they are all going towards the east, northeast. As we take a look at the Dallas radar, this is a line of heavy showers and storms from Cleburne, stretching it down to Mansfield around Arlington, down for Shady Grove, and stretching down Dallas area, and stretching to Carrollton, down to Plano, and up to Allen, and down for Fairview. And down in Oklahoma, we're seeing a line of heavy thunderstorms from Durant, Oklahoma, stretching it in for Tulsa, and stretching around Butlersville. As we take a look at the Tulsa radar, and it shows the heavy thunderstorms around the Tulsa area, and seeing some spotty bands of showers and storms around Winfield, Kansas, and stretching in the eastern Kansas, around the Kansas City area, stretching in northwestern Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, and around southwestern Iowa. And a tornado warning remains effect until 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time for southwestern Rogers and northwestern Wagner counties in Oklahoma. At 10:41 p.m. Central Daylight Time, severe thunderstorm with strong low-level rotation that could produce tornadoes at any time were located along the line. Extending from near Catoosa around 2 miles southwest of Onino, they're moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. Hazard tornado. Source radar indication rotation. Impact fine debris. Will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobiles will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Location or near the path includes Broken Arrow, Coweta, Rodriguez, Chihuahua, Claymore, Catoosa, Inola, and Onino, as it includes the Interstate 44 between mile markers 234 and 257. Precautionary perimeter actions that take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room in a lower floor of the security building. Avoid windows if you are outdoors. In a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from fire and debris. Alright, local forecast here in the northern vicinity. The 7-day forecast that goes like this. Alright, we are under a frost advisory in effect from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday. Location Northeast Connecticut, North Rhode Island, and parts of eastern and southeastern Massachusetts includes the cities and towns of Union, Vernon, Putnam, Willamette, Gloucester, Cambridge, Quincy, Taunton, Brockton, Plymouth, Gloucester, Smithfield, Providence, Covenant, and West Greenwich. Temperature in the mid-30s at 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Sensitive outdoor plants may be killed if left uncovered. A frost advisory means that widespread frost is expected as sensitive outdoor plants may be killed if left uncovered. How's this? What about look? Day 1 tonight. Frost advisory day 2 for 7 Wednesday for Monday. Frost and freeze headlines may be needed again Wednesday night for portions of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and eastern Massachusetts. Alright, 7-day forecast goes like this. For tonight, Petrobras after 2 a.m. Most clouds going to about 31 degrees. Slight northwest wind. For Wednesday, areas are possible for 7 a.m. South skies about 59 degrees. North about 6 miles coming in west in the afternoon. Wednesday, most clouds go about 32 degrees. North about 6 miles up and coming north after midnight. For Tuesday, Thursday. Saturday, the podcast got about 59, north about 37 degrees, northeast with about 3 to 5 miles an hour, shifted line of variable wind. Friday, both Saturday podcasts got about 57, about 37 degrees. Saturday, both Saturday podcasts got about 61, about 40 degrees. Sunday, both podcasts got about 61, about 41 degrees. Monday, chance of showers, both podcasts got about 59, about 42 degrees, just based 35%. And for Tuesday, chance of showers, podcast got about 59 degrees, just based 30%. Currently not, it's overcast of 40, humidity 83%. That is convenient for the Peter Channel. Late night news is late. Tuesday, April 26, 2016, I'll see you tomorrow morning with a more report. Good night.